Hey YouTube, I am in the shop messing around today. I was following up on my cleaning my hydraulic roller lifter video I put up. These things are, I don't know, it took 2 sessions. Basically I submerged all 16 roller lifters in diesel fuel, let them soak for a couple of days. That did include two 15 to 20 minute sessions on the little vibrator, because I've got that sonic parts cleaner out there where you can just set your I was using an old coffee plastic coffee container, but you can just set your vessel on top of your sonic cleaner and click, put it on, and it'll sit there and vibrate those lifters in that diesel fuel. And it did an excellent job of cleaning them, because I put them in for one soak, 2 sessions on the vibrator, then dumped all the diesel out, checked them, and you can shake them, turn them upside down with the push rod cup down and shake them, and you can kind of see, do I have all the crap out of these lifters, or do I need to wash them some more? So they were still throwing a little bit of what I would call a discolored diesel fuel out of them, so I thought, okay, I will spray them, hit them all with a little bit of brake clean down inside the orifices, clean out the little blue tub, and resubmerge them in fresh diesel fuel, and then go through the cleaning process again to make sure they're how I want them before I start submerging them in engine oil prior to assembly. Well, I was a little bit surprised, I guess you could say, because these came out of a perfectly smooth running 110,000 mile engine. There was absolutely nothing wrong with them. Every single one of the roller wheels is perfect. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with these lifters whatsoever. But I have one lifter that the internal mechanism doesn't want to free up for anything. This thing has been sprayed out numerous times with brake clean. It's gone through 2 of the wash cycles through the diesel fuel, and the only thing you can get to rattle on this thing is the little roller bearings in the wheel. It's like when you shake it, you can hear that, but you know what I mean? Now listen to this one. I hope you guys can hear that. That is a clean, fully functional hydraulic roller lifter. The internal mechanism on all of these lifters are perfectly clean. They're going to pump up and work great, which this is, just in case you were wondering, this is just clean, fresh motor oil in a clean vessel. So I know 15 of these are happy, ready to be in service. I have checked, like I said before, every one of the roller wheels is perfectly shiny. There's no discoloration, no pitting, nothing. Inside, all good to go. But number 16 has fought me and fought me and fought me. So I have an option. I have several options actually. But I wanted to make a video, because I am, again, working on stuff without making stupid videos. And what good is it having a channel if I'm not going to post the stuff I'm working on? So here's my thought process, which more than likely is what I'm going to end up doing, is I'm going to disassemble this lifter by removing the little clip and disassembling it piece by piece, because everything inside of this lifter is metal. You're not going to hurt it. Using the brake clean, solvents, diesel fuel, blah, 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 you're not going to hurt anything inside this lifter. I just cannot understand, because I've banged it on my workbench. I have sprayed brake clean in the bleed holes through the push rod cup. I've even put a push rod in this push rod cup and just tried to cycle it. And this thing is froze hard. If any lifter I've ever seen is going to make that weird LS lifter knock sound, this has to be it. but I do not recall ever hearing that sound, you know, in that engine. So I don't know. My options were disassemble this lifter, clean everything, reassemble, see if it's correct. I could, because of course I have, let me see here, I have another set of lifters that I can choose from that all have good wheels. You can see it's dirty and gummy because they haven't been through any of the wash processes yet. But if you look, an old lifter that's gummy, it don't shake at all. I mean, you can click your roller wheel, but you can't make it shake. None of those old used lifters that are gummed up with old oil will shake at all. So I have to disassemble this or clean, go ahead and put those through the wash cycle, pick one of those to throw in with this to complete the set, or worst case scenario as far as money is concerned, I can go to the parts store and purchase one lifter to replace that one that's acting dumb. But this engine, you know, everything I do, I'm so anal and OCD about. I want to make sure it's 100% correct so that the user doesn't have to do anything but just put it in his car, set the distributor, plug in his, you know, to do his timing, hook up his fuel, and drive the dumb thing. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that lifter either working or replaced with one that will. I've got everything else cleaned up and ready to install on the, as far as the hydraulic roller setup goes. Got the cylinder heads back from the machine shop. I might do a separate video on that, I'm not sure, because I do have to finish cleaning the valves prior to lapping them in, because they had a little bit of crud built up on the back of the valves. But as far as the sealing surfaces, they look pretty good. I don't, you know, there's not going to be any problem with that. But I had the machine shop set it up for the positive seals. He went ahead and ran it through his wash tank. It got 75% of the dirt and crud off of them. I mean, they're you could paint them. You know, I mean, the outside of them is clean as can be. But I wish the ports were a little bit cleaner, so I'm probably going to do a little bit of cleanup on them. I will clean the stainless steel valves, most likely with brake clean and a Scotch-Brite, because believe it or not, you can chuck those valves up in just a little cordless drill and use brake clean and maybe a what I call a light abrasive, the white or the red, Scotch, or what do they call those things? I don't know, it's those little green scrubby pads you use to wash your dishes, or if you use the red ones when you're sanding body work, whatever. Use those little pads with brake clean and just spin it in your drill motor. You can clean the crap out of them and it causes absolutely no damage to the stainless steel surface or anything. But you can literally clean those things up, those stainless steel valves. I keep saying stainless, the process would work on any valve, but I'm just so used to the industry standard, or the stuff I work on nowadays is generally all stainless. So I beg my pardon as far as using that terminology, but I'll get everything cleaned up, ready to reassemble, and lap those valves in, because I want to make 100% sure, you know, I didn't have any issues in it, you know, running the nitrous through it that one night at the track, just verifying the seat and the seal and everything. The only other concern, or not, it's not even a concern, it was just trying to verify, in my own opinion, how much seat pressure I want to assemble these heads with. I don't know, but I thought I had mentioned in a previous video, when I assemble those cylinder heads for this 350 build, the lift on that hydraulic roller cam is really small. It's only like mid 440s, like 450. I want to say it's like 443 or 444 on the intake, 450 on the exhaust. I mean, it's literally just a hair above a factory Vortec 350 spec. But I want to make sure I get plenty of seat pressure and operating pressure, open pressures at that lift, so that he doesn't have any problems and it runs smooth, yada yada yada. The two sets of valve springs I have that I'm choosing from are a set of Z28 valve springs that are, when I checked them last time, had 110 pounds at 1/700. Then I also have a set of what they call the 550 lift springs that I believe had either 120 or, I can't remember right off the hit my top of my head, but it was either 120 or 125 at 1/750. When you set those springs side by side, literally the diameter of the spring used to create the springs are identical. The only difference is that 550 lift spring is just literally about 50 thousandths taller. So I might run both springs down to the machine shop, have him put them back in the fixture, verify the pressures, because I want to make sure that these heads run, trouble free for the customer. So we'll make a decision, because like I said, this is not a hot rod. This isn't a what I would consider a high, even a medium horsepower build. This is like basically a step up from factory replacement engine that I hope to make decent power and torque, pull good vacuum, and have something that this person can enjoy, spin the tires, whatever, because it is going to make substantially more power than the factory 1990 engine made, but it's not considered a high performance build in any way. The only thing that's really better than stock is it's got those 492, mildly, and I say very mildly, ported cylinder heads, big valves, which is better than what the factory used. Have a little bit more cam lift on that hydraulic roller setup. But other than that, unless he chooses to put headers on it, it's basically a TBI 1990, injection on top of a slightly stronger, motor. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this crazy lifter that doesn't want to play fair. But I guarantee I will win that battle before it's over with. And I will get that thing ready to assemble. I have everything set up as far as rings, bearings, gasket seals, to finish re-ringing and putting fresh bearings and rings in that motor that I pulled out of the Blazer. That way we know we got a good ring seal and we don't have any issues with that. That engine is a standard crank, standard bore block that absolutely is still in spec from what GM sent it out with. I mean, to tell you, I put a high volume oil pump in that build back when I built it, and that was ridiculous because the bearing clearance on that engine is so tight that when you started the engine, not even in the middle of winter, I'm just talking about if you start that engine any time of the year, you've got 60 to 70 pounds of oil pressure at idle. And if you tried to drive the stupid thing before the engine was 100% warmed up, 1,500 or 2,000 RPMs trying to drive down the road, and you got almost 100 pounds of oil pressure. I mean, that was an absolute mismatch, putting that high volume oil pump in such a tight clearanced engine. I wasn't really thinking real clear on that idea, but it was just something you fall into. It's a habit. When you're ordering parts, you're like, okay, I'm going to order this. I need this time and chain. I'll go ahead and throw in the high volume oil pump, blah, 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 because you get used to doing that kind of stuff for a performance build. Wasn't really the best match. So basically what I'm going to do, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I hope I have. I'm going to go ahead and run the high volume pump and gears, but I'm going to put a standard pressure spring in it. So that should match up well because we'll get the pressure back under control where it matches better, but you'll also have an increased oil flow through volume. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. I'll try to get more hands-on instructional type videos. Don't really like being on camera that much, but if you're going to teach people how to do things, a lot of people like to watch and not listen. So I understand the process, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else. So anyway, you guys keep tuning in, like and share and all that stuff. I never mentioned that I probably should. Just trying to get things going and get this engine finished. So thanks for watching.